This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome, my friends, to the Monday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. It is the fastest hour in American media, which, by the way, leads to the fastest weeks in American media. It seems like once we get started, we're saying, hey, we're at the end of another week. This, of course, the July 4th holiday week. Many people in America, the way that holidays work these days, will be taking most of the week off. Not us. You do realize that, don't you, Carlos? I told people, oh, yeah, well, I'm going to say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be back to work. It's like a one-day holiday turns into a 5-day vacation.
It is on a Friday.
Doesn't matter.
Then you think, like, might as well.
I got people, I'm telling you, there are people that are taking off Wednesday and it pre-holiday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so they can get a full, and they're, you know, it's just whatever. That's the way it works. Throw the holiday in, put a little time before, put a little time after, and whoa, you've eked out another week of vacation.
I'm just going to sit home.
Sit home and do what?
Oh, cook. Like make some barbecue kind of stuff. Probably brisket. I love brisket.
Any vegetables on that plate?
No.
Oh, Carlos. Anyway, it is, of course, the news doesn't stop, and we will be here. There was a horrible incident in Idaho yesterday. Idaho is one of those states. I don't think I've been to Idaho. But Idaho, this guy starts a fire, ends up killing 2 firemen. He's deaded, 20 years old. He has been identified. At the time, it was turning up because people didn't know. Reports of whether it was one sniper or many snipers, so you had that. In New York City, there was a incident at the end of Pride Month, the big Pride weekend month thing. This guy said he felt like he was going to be jumped and ends up spraying. Here it is, New York Daily News. A man sprayed bear repellent. Yeah, bear repellent into a crowd of Pride March revelers in Washington Square Park. He injured 51 people. Dominic Sabator of Harlem told cops he unleashed the powerful spray because he believed he was about to be jumped. Arrested for assault, reckless endangerment, possession of a noxious chemical, bear repellent in a clear container adorned with a picture of a bear. It started a panic. This happened at 8:30 last night. People running in all kind of directions. 47 people treated at the scene, 4 others taken to Bellevue Hospital in New York. And I did not know this. Bear repellent can be up to 3 times more potent than the pepper spray that people often use to fight off muggers. Hint to ICE. Bear repellent can be, well, they have to know all of this, but then you see these crowds and you see people trying to fight off these Antifa guys in Washington State, where and Portland, Oregon, where these Antifa types are left to roam and rule the city. Sometimes there was a video over the weekend. I don't have the audio from it because it's just all it is yelling and screaming with F-bombs flying here, there, and everywhere. A woman who has had it. She's an older woman walking out, they blast music all night long and shout these anti-ICE slogans and anti-government slogans. She walks out, she's just telling them, would you please just turn it down? People are trying to sleep. And of course, they unload on her with every F-bomb in the world and every other horrible thing that they could call this woman. And one of the things, by the way, I find amazing about in L.A., because there you still have the ICE raids that are happening, and you see all these Spanish guys on all these videos, and they're using the N-word at the ICE. It just flows out of, yo, in, no, yo, no, and this is what they're calling ICE people, every other word. And it's like that word has been taken over. It's just, you listen to it. In L.A., of course, there is still a lot going on. The Trump administration today, ladies and gentlemen, has sued Mayor Karen Bass and the L.A. City Council over their sanctuary city policies. Yay. You see this as a common liner over people's social media posts. I voted for this, and yes, I voted for this. I voted for this. And I would love to see not just Los Angeles. I want to see it spread. I want to see the lawsuits against California as a state. Every single one of these blue Confederate cities or these blue Confederate states in the new Confederacy, I would like to see the lawsuits flying from the Justice Department down to the municipal level, the state level. Do it every single lawsuit that you can file. Get these people into court to defend this. The DOJ sued the city of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, the city council, calling LA's sanctuary city laws illegal, asking the courts, a district court. You can imagine after the weekend at last week at the Supreme Court ruling with district courts, you can just imagine what kind of reception this is going to get into district courts in California. But anyway, the lawsuit filed in California's Central District Federal Court by the Trump administration said the county is facing a crisis of illegal immigration. Its effort to address it are hindered by sanctuary cities such as the city of Los Angeles, which refuse to cooperate or share information even when requested. They say that the situation became so dire that the federal government deployed the California National Guard and the United States Marines to quell the chaos in that city. A direct confrontation with federal immigration authorities was inevitable because of the city's sanctuary city law. Yes, Attorney General Pam Bondi has called the city's sanctuary policies the driving cause of the violence, chaos, and attacks on law enforcement that Americans recently witnessed in Los Angeles. It is more than that, folks. Pam Bondi said jurisdictions like L.A. that flout federal law by prioritizing illegal aliens over American citizens are undermining law enforcement at every level. It ends up under President Donald Trump, and got to stop it. Now, we have news reports. Oh, this is what I love. Alligator Alcatraz is supposed to open tomorrow. Yes, alligator. Yes, Carlos.
Gator Kraz.
That's what you're calling it, the new nickname, Gator-Traz?
Gator Kraz.
Gator Kraz. I like alligator Alcatraz. It's so beautiful. Yes, a little more work, but I mean, have it your way. The point of the matter, it's set to open. And that's a good thing. And you see the videos from it. You have the liberal protesters standing out in the sweltering heat in the swamp. The mosquitoes must be in bliss. Because even with insect repellent, if you don't do whatever area they can find for hours and hours out there. And so these people are committed. But if you notice one thing from all the videos, they're not doing what other protesters do. They're not sitting in the roadway trying to block cars. They're not trying to stand in. You know why? Because they're in Florida and they understand the Florida rules are, hey, if you're blocking a car and you get hit, that's your problem, not the driver's problem. So they're on both sides of the roads in and out of Alligator, Alcatraz, but these protesters are not. They have been put on notice. So you have that coming on. You have CNN, when it comes to immigration, doing something in thinking. They're not just reporting on this new app that's supposed to help people identify when ICE is nearby. It's almost from their coverage, it's almost as if they're promoting it. And there are people that are objecting to that. We shall see where that goes. We'll have a little bit on that. I'm looking right now. Let me find this one soundbite that I want you to hear, ladies and gentlemen. It's a dude, and it's cut 16. And this dude is in L.A., where the administration has just filed against Sanctuary City. And let's just listen to his man in the street reporting from Los Angeles, and I will use that as a backdrop to explain what is really happening. Go ahead,
So you see that street right there? It says Santee.
Yeah.
It's a place in
Santee.
Los Angeles. It's known as
Yep.
Santee Alley, okay? And this
Santee
place
Alley.
is usually filled with illegal immigrants. I mean, it is filled with them. And they have shops here. They work out here. Also, they come out here to shop and buy goods, so on and so forth. And I happen to be in the area, so I talked to a couple of shop owners, and I wanted to ask them firsthand, is it really that bad right now? Does ICE have people so scared that they won't even show up to work? And everybody said yes. It's been like an apocalyptic town ever since ICE came to Los Angeles. What used to be a flooded area with illegal immigrants who would always be here, and if you've ever been to downtown LA and been to Santee Alley, you know what I'm talking about. It is flooded with people from South America who work here, shop here. You can barely walk in the streets. It's so busy. They are saying it's been an apocalyptic ghost town. ICE has these people so scared they won't even show up. So I guess it's true. ICE has everybody shook.
Now, that, my friends, is very telling. So when Pam Bondi says, yeah, the sanctuary laws are responsible for the chaos, for everything. No, yes, all of that is true, but they're responsible for something much more than just the violence and the chaos. Illegal immigration is responsible for the success of Los Angeles to the degree that they are successful, and other cities' economies. They are also responsible for the political power of California as the quote-unquote nation's most populous state, and the representation that comes from having illegal immigrants in a state to the excessive number that California does. And this is what is at threat. If you look at what will happen in the future to California, to New York, and some of the other Confederate states, if illegals truly do get the message and leave the United States of America, and the power and the fortunes of the Democrat Party are at risk. And that's why they are fighting so hard, and that's why also they are not going to give up unless the courts step in and make them abandon these policies. We got to take a quick break here. It's July 4th weekend. We got a lot more to go. James Golden, Snerdley with you here. Fastest hour in American media.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yeah, we have so many stories, and we're going to get to so many sound bites when we have resume. But I wanted to play one that took place at the Glastonbury Music Festival. Easily looked like a crowd of about 100,000 there. The rap duo Bob Vylan, and this was part of the performance.
Free, free. Free, free. Free, free. Alright, but have you heard this one though? Death, death to the IDF. 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 Hell yeah, from the river to the sea, Palestine must be, will be, inshallah, it will be free.
Yeah, well, they were due to tour the United States later this year. The State Department now has revoked their visas. Good. For the members of Bob Vylan's band and, of course, the two rappers themselves. He's doubling down. He's saying it's an incredibly important thing that we encourage and inspire future generations, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, the BBC has apologized. In hindsight, they say they should have pulled it. They don't believe in inciting violence, but, you know, they believe in free expression. They respect the freedom of expression, but they stand firmly against incitement to violence, which is what this was. All right. We got a lot to go. Oh, by the way, people are making excuses for this. You got to hear it. Just stay there. Don't go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Free, free. Alright, but have you heard this one though? Death, death to the IDF. 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 Hell yeah, from the river to the sea, Palestine must be, will be, inshallah.
You don't watch Glastonbury for nuance on a nightmarishly complex political international situation. And I think what you saw from the audience, I mean, these people, these rock stars, they're not kind of political leaders. I think what you saw from an audience is there is real anger about what's going on in Gaza. I get it every day from people who don't follow politics, to my annoyance, but they are really taken aback by what's happening in Gaza, and you got that. And, you know, Wes Streeting, of course, was very careful to say October the 7th was a horror that needs to also be addressed. Everyone has to balance with these things. I don't think what you saw at Glastonbury was thousands and thousands of people relishing in anti-Semitism. I think you just saw a kind of bunch of people expressing horror with Gaza. And I get it all the time wherever I go with friends. You know, they say, well, why doesn't Starman say more about it? And that's what it was.
Well, let's do that one, because we've no doubt provoked a flood of social media posts that characterises all of us as crazy Zionists or crazy extremists or whatever.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you see what you saw there from the thousands of people, tens of thousands of people that were shouting death to the IDF in Glastonbury. What you saw there it really wasn't called anti-Semitism. No, not at all. I mean, after all, these people are it's just disgusting. Just disgusting Gaza. That was a columnist. That was a Sky News debate on what the world saw at the Glastonbury Music Festival. Okay, so you've heard now the excuse-making going on British TV over what was clearly, look, folks, England is different. The England that we have read about for most of our lives or has visited on occasion, that England is gone. It's done. There is a new England. And you just heard some of the new England. And you're hearing the excuse making from the commentators over what we heard. You didn't really hear what you just heard. Anyway, let's get to CNN. Before that, let's get to NBC. So this guy running for mayor in New York, Zoran Mamdani, was on with Kirsten Welker. And I must say, to her credit, she didn't lose track of her question. Cut number 10.
Asked about the term globalize the intifada, if it makes you uncomfortable. In that moment, you did not condemn the phrase. Now, just so folks understand, it's a phrase that many people hear as a call to violence against Jews. There's been a lot of attention on this issue, so I want to give you an opportunity to respond here and now. Do you condemn that phrase, globalize the intifada?
That's not language that I use. The language that I use and the language that I will continue to use to lead this city is that which speaks clearly to my intent, which is an intent grounded in a belief in universal human rights. And ultimately, that's what is the foundation of so much of my politics, the belief that freedom and justice and safety are things that, to have meaning, have to be applied to all people, and that includes Israelis and Palestinians alike.
But do you actually condemn it? I think that's the question, and the outstanding issue that a number of people, both of the Jewish faith and beyond, have. Do you condemn that phase, globalize the intifada, which a lot of people hear as a call to violence against Jews?
I've heard from many Jewish New Yorkers who have shared their concerns with me, especially in light of the horrific attacks that we saw in Washington, D.C. and in Boulder, Colorado, about this moment of anti-Semitism in our country and in our city. And I've heard those fears, and I've had those conversations, and ultimately they are part and parcel of why in my campaign I've put forward a commitment to increase funding for anti-hate crime programming by 800%. I don't believe that the role of the mayor is to police speech in the manner especially of that of Donald Trump, who has put one New Yorker in jail who's just returned to his family, Mahmoud Khalil, for that very supposed crime of speech. Ultimately, what I think I need to show is the ability to not only talk about something, but to tackle it and to make clear that there's no room for anti-Semitism in this city. And we have to root out that bigotry, and ultimately we do that through the actions, and that is the mayor I will be, one that protects Jewish New Yorkers and lives up to that commitment through the work that I do.
But quickly, for the people who care about the language and who feel really concerned by that phrase, why not just condemn it?
My concern is to start to walk down the line of language and making clear what language I believe is permissible or impermissible takes me into a place similar to that of the president, who is looking to do those very kinds of things, putting people in jail for writing an op-ed, putting them in jail for protesting. Ultimately, it's not language that I use. It's language I understand there are concerns about. And what I will do is showcase my vision for the city through my words and my actions.
Let me ask you broadly.
So he refuses to answer. This is a phrase, globalize the infantada. People understand exactly what it means. Like that phrase, the river to the sea. People know exactly what it means by exactly who's saying it and exactly who's saying it. Will you condemn it? It's a call to violence against Jews. And you got 2 minutes and 42 seconds of let's dance around the question and try to say every single phrase that we can using words, but not say I condemn words that people globally understand is a call to violence. That, and then try to throw Trump in there and make some weird argument that Trump wants to throw people in. Look, this is political cowardice on parade. He can simply not say, nope, this is wrong, and I condemn it. He tries to double talk and dance his way through it. Kirsten Walker also asked him about keeping Sanctuary City. That's the next one. Carlos, let's hit that one.
Questions. Let's talk about immigration, deportation. Are you committed to keeping New York as a sanctuary city?
Absolutely, because ultimately we've seen that this is a policy that has kept New Yorkers safe for decades. It's a policy that had previously been defended by Democrats and Republicans alike until the fear-mongering of this current mayor. And it's a policy that we've seen ensures that New Yorkers can get out of the shadows and into the full life of the city that they belong to. And it's one that I will be proud to stand up for.
Well, you know, the border czar, Tom Homan, has said that he is planning to deploy ICE agents to New York, worksite enforcement to essentially increase and enhance the number of ICE agents here. If that happens on your watch, how do you plan to handle it?
We have to stand up and fight back, and we haven't seen that from our current mayor, who has instead been working with the Trump administration to assist in their goal of building the single largest deportation force in American history. I mean, we saw ICE agents arrest a migrant at Federal Plaza, and then we saw NYPD officers arresting a pastor who was peacefully observing that arrest. Those days are going to come to an end when I'm the mayor. The NYPD's job is to create public safety in the city, not to assist ICE agents in their mission to attack the very fabric of this city.
Lawsuit, by the way, against New York City, just like you did LA, for sanctuary, regardless of who's mayor. And I'm going to say once again, this guy has made statements in the past. He is a naturalized citizen now. He went through a citizenship a review of his character at the time. Investigation needed. Homeland Security, pull the files. Look at everything that this guy has said now. Compare it with what he said when he wanted to become a citizen of the United States. If you find that there are incongruities in what he said then and what he is saying now, revoke the citizenship, deport his ass. Period. I don't care about the political consequences. If he wants to step up to the plate and start talking about how he's not going to obey the laws of this country and he's a freaking immigrant to this country, then revoke his citizenship now. After you do the investigation, if that turns out to be true, revoke it and deport. Plain and simple. Speaking of deportation, CNN, I mentioned, they did a so-called news story on this app, but then they did a profile. Now, I'm going to play both of them. I'm going to talk in between because this is long stuff. Not all that. But first, cut 12, Carlos. Let's hear the first news report that we heard on this.
Administration steps up ICE raids and mass deportations.
That's still
one tech
cut
developer
12,
is pushing
cut
back
12.
with...
Cut 12. Yes, this would be...
Administration steps up ICE raids and mass deportations. One tech developer is pushing back with an app designed to track ICE activity in real time. It's called Ice Block, and it's controversial to say the least. Senator Claire Duffy is with us now. How does this work, Claire, and what are the legal implications?
Yeah, John, I talked with Joshua Aaron, who is the longtime tech worker who developed this platform, and he said he really wants it to be an early warning system for people about the location of Immigrations and Customs Enforcement officers. So he says he does not want people interfering with those officers' activity, but he does want people to be able to avoid them altogether if they want. So you open the app, it looks like a map, and users can tap the map to report an ICE sighting in their area, and then everybody who uses the platform within 5 miles of that sighting will get a push alert. This is a free iPhone app. It is anonymous. Aaron says he doesn't collect any user data. And what I think is really interesting about this in this moment is we've seen so many of the biggest leaders in tech supporting President Trump, but Aaron is sort of an example of the fact that there are people within the tech industry who are really resistant to Trump's policies. I asked him what he would say to those tech leaders who, for example, were at the inauguration. Here's what he told me. Take a listen.
I understand that you have shareholders to report to. I understand that you have employees that need their paychecks. But at what point do you say enough is enough?
And, John,
Now,
I should say that ICE did not respond.
Enough of that one right there, because I want to get to the second one. Time's running short. So that was just the first report. Now, this is where I'm saying CNN is crossing the line. They don't just report. This one sounds more like a promo. To me, maybe you will hear it differently. Cut 13. You tell me what you think of this.
When I saw what was happening in this country, I wanted to do something to fight back.
Joshua Aaron developed Ice Block. It's a free, crowdsourced app that alerts users when immigration and customs enforcement agents are spotted within a 5-mile radius of their location.
Will you just sort of explain what Ice Block is and how it works?
Sure. So imagine if you're walking down the street and a notification comes up on your device that says ICE has been spotted 4 blocks ahead. Instead of continuing down that path, you can turn left or turn around and avoid the situation altogether.
Aaron grew up Jewish and has a background in tech, music, and activism. He says he sees parallels between the Trump administration's immigration crackdown and Nazi Germany.
We're literally watching history repeat itself. And so I thought, what if there was an early warning system? And that's what became Ice Block.
I'm looking at LA now. I'm seeing one in East Hollywood, And then as I zoom out, it's showing me a few others.
One of the core principles of the design of this app is 100% anonymity for our user base. As of today, we have 20,000 users. We're hoping to grow that 10 or 100 times, of course. But there is no sign-up process. There is no user data collected. There's no user data even captured by our app.
Do you have a way of verifying the accuracy of the reports that people are making on the platform?
We don't, but what we've done is put some safeguards in place so that people can't, for lack of a better word, spam the database. Every reported sighting is deleted in 4 hours' time, as you can only report within a 5-mile radius of your own location. Beyond that, we have a 5-minute limit. So when you report a sighting, you can't report another one for 5 minutes.
CNN reached out to ICE for comment about the app and Aaron's characterization of its enforcement actions. The agency did not respond.
We have also seen the way that many big tech leaders have supported Trump, donated to him, showed up at the inauguration. But what you're doing is challenging the policies of the Trump administration. And I wonder what you would say to the other leaders and your colleagues in this industry.
I think I would say grow a backbone. You can't just be about the money. I understand that you have shareholders to report to.
And that's the part we heard before in the other news report. Folks, that's a damn promo. CNN ought to be ashamed that and you heard, of course, the political bias part of this that was just naked and not pushed back on at all by the CNN so-called journalists here. This is a disgrace. They have a broadcast license, you know. James Golden, Snerdley, with you on the fastest hour in American media. We will be back, ladies and gentlemen, to wrap things up on the Monday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. James Golden, Snerdley, fastest hour in American media continues. Don't go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
We need Eric Adams to win because Miami cannot take any more New Yorkers. You guys raise our rent. You have the worst attitude. You talk about our work ethic. And we just don't want you here anymore.
What if millions of us stopped working, stopped spending, and stopped producing all at the same time? There's a movement brewing. It's called the People's Sick Day, and what it is a 3-day economic blackout. That means no work, no shopping, no production, just pause. 3 days where we remind the system that without us, nothing moves. But here's the twist. We're not giving out the dates until 48 hours before, because we don't want to give the corporations time to plan and stop us from having this happen. Because let's be honest, if they knew what we were planning, they'd shut it down before it even started. This isn't a protest. This is a strategic disruption to the machine that feeds off of our hard work and labor. If you want to be a part of it, go to thepeoplesickday.com, join the Discord, and join the movement. This is how we stand up against what is happening in our country. We need to shut it down. We need to shut it down. So go to thepeoplesickday.com, sign up for the Discord, and you can get more information there. We're not going to buy anything
for 3 days, and we're not telling anybody until 2 days before because it's so strategic. And we're going to shut down the machine. We're going to save the country by shutting down the machine. What is wrong with liberal women? It's like it's a virus of something. May God bless and protect each and every single one of you, your families, your loved ones. God willing, we are back tomorrow. Until then, my friends, I bid you adieu. It's July 4th weekend. For those of you already starting your vacation, happy vacation. In the meantime, bye.
Thanks for listening. to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
77 WABC invites you to a family fun day and softball showdown on July 20th with net proceeds benefiting Shriners Children's. John Sterling will call the game as the FDNY takes on the NYPD with special guests Dwight Gooden, Art Shamsky, 77 WABC hosts including Sid Rosenberg, Anthony Cumia, Lionel, Dominic Carter, and many more. For more info and to buy tickets, go to ShrinersChildren'sChampions.org. That's ShrinersChildren'sChampions.org.